Hi, everyone. I'm Gabriel Castelblanco. I'm an assistant professor at the University of Florida, and I'll be presenting the impact of integrated supply chain platforms on construction project management. This work is a collaboration with a couple of colleagues at Politecnico di Torino in Italy. So, as you know, basically, I mean, in the supply chain, we have been dealing with significant issues over the last few years, mostly. And more, let's say, whenever we think about, let's say, platforms for supply chain management, it's mostly about the way information is managed. And basically, there are two main objectives for that: organizing everyday operations, manufacturing, storage, positioning, transportation, or for using forecasting and planning, which is more about risk management in terms of supply chain. So basically, any platform for digital supply chain management, it's looking for improving the interorganizational communication and collaboration processes across different stakeholders. And basically, the aim of this work is basically analyzing the adoption of these digital supply chain platforms in the construction industry, which is a little bit related with the, let's say, with the background we heard a few presentations before. And most importantly, in this research, we were looking for understanding the relationship between this adoption of the integrated supply chain platforms and time management, cost management, risk management, and performance within projects using, and for that reason, we use structural equation modeling because we are interested about the causality, but also to differentiate across direct causality and indirect causality. So basically, based on a literature review, we identify 5 different variables where integrated supply chain platform adoption may affect, according to the literature, performance via risk, time, and cost management, mostly. And in order to test this, we conduct almost 200 surveys in Norway and Denmark. And once this is, let's say, the number of respondents we got, and then after the screening, we removed 25 responses because basically there were companies not using any integrated supply chain platform. After that, we basically conduct the causality test. So in terms of a statistical analysis, we identify the hypotheses that can support causality. And lastly, we conduct the, let's say, the proper structural equation modeling on that. The profile of the respondents, because of course, whenever we are dealing with, I call it non-objective information, because it's not project performance information, but it's based on experts' opinion. Everything is about the sample. So basically, across the respondents, we have over 60% of project managers, then followed by almost 18% of project directors. After that, project management assistants, and another 15 categories that it's less than 1%. In terms of experience, as you can see here, let's say almost 14% they have over 10 years of experience. Let's say a little bit more than a third had between 5 and 9 years, and almost half of the respondents have less than 5 years of experience. And then once we, let's say, conduct the demographics, we also ask about the duration of the interaction or the implementation of these integrated supply chain platforms within their companies. So basically, as you can see here, most of them over here only are, let's say, significantly using these tools between 1 and 3 years, but almost a third as well, 3 to 5 years, 23% more than 5 years, and 10% less than 1 year. And in order also to identify the size of the projects, basically most of the projects were between 1 and 10 million euros. A third basically were less than 1 million euros, and only 20% were over 10 million euros. And in terms of the software platforms, most of them use Primavera. Some other were using also Oracle Fusion, NetSuite, SAP, Boico, Transmate, and some other platforms. With each of them, it's not so representative. Then we went into the causality test, which is the important thing here. So the first thing I want to emphasize is that the statistical test on the adoption of these platforms does not influence cost management. So basically, you will see that there is no direct relation between integrated supply chain platform adoption and cost management, which is, let's say, a little bit it's interesting because, again, this is based, let's say the causality initially that we want to test, all of them were based on the literature. So basically we found, at least based on this analysis, that is not a direct causality between the adoption of these platforms and cost management. On the contrary, it does for risk management. It's also significant for time management, but then there were like these, let's say, mediators, which is basically risk management indeed affect cost management, also affect time management, and time management is also impacting cost management. And ultimately, only cost management have a direct effect on the project performance itself, which basically allow us to create like the direct causal relationships. On the contrary, time management doesn't show let's say a significant statistical causality for performance. Then with that said, we integrate the, let's say, the constructs within each of the variables. I'll go really quick over all of them. So you'll see here basically the integrated supply chain platform adoption is basically about reducing order errors and unnecessary supply chain processes. And it's impacting risk management in terms of risk assessment, project tracking, and risk identification and mitigation. It's also affecting time management in terms of construction time, lead times for material, but is not affecting one of the components of the time management, which is project delay. So basically, using these platforms, adopting these platforms, are not necessarily impacting the project delays in the overall performance. And then in terms of cost management, it's mostly directly affecting schedule budget rather than cost management, unnecessary inventory even, and bringing back costs to schedule budget. And ultimately, in terms of performance, both in terms of timeline, scope, budget, and also stakeholder engagement were directly affected by cost management. So ultimately, let's say the big picture is integrated supply chain platform adoption. It's only affecting directly risk management regarding these three components, time management only based on those couple of components, but it's affecting performance indirectly. through, again, time management, cost management in such way. And I think this is, our main goal with this research basically was laying a ground for future research in order to, let's say, identify the real benefits and impacts of this integration now that everyone is talking about blockchain adoption for supply chain management and so on. And now that, let's say, the construction supply chain is really facing significant pressures because of macroeconomics and global effects. So we provide a few recommendations in terms of our findings. And again, we are planning to extend this research in the near future. Thank you so much.